Hey guys, in this video we will be looking at our AVG or average aggregate function, and this is building on top of our newly acquired SQL group by statement use and skill. And in this video, because we need average and average is numerical, I'm going to make a database structure change. So our enrollments table was originally designed to have a letter grade. That's why we stored it as nchar2. I'm just going to modify the design so that we have a few number grades, and then I'm going to enter some numbers in that table. So to change the design, just as a refresher, we can just right click the table, click design. And the good thing is that we had no data in our grade column. So you can bear this in mind when making a design change to your column. If data is in there, then the data may get corrupted based on the type of change that you're about to make. So moving from a string to, let's say, a float is actually a destructive kind of change to any string that was there, and you'd probably get an error. At least moving from a float to a string or to an varchar might not be as disruptive as the other way around. So be very careful when making those design changes. And if you already have grades in there, then you can probably create another table just so you can follow along with the examples for this video. So I made this design change. I changed grade to float, and I can just click save. And you may get a warning that says that you're not allowed to save changes, and that's good because these are errors that you may encounter when making database changes. So we're going to go through this error together. So when you encounter that error, you need to go to Tools, Options, and then you're going to look for the Designers subcategory and Table and Database Designers, and then you're going to untick this option that says Prevent saving changes that require table recreation. So like I said, certain changes can be disruptive. So I'll just untick that, click OK, and then click save. And then in the background, it will actually execute update scripts, because just in case I made any change that would affect the related tables, then it needs to ripple those changes across. So I'll just click yes. And there we go. Next, I'm just going to quickly right click, go to edit top 200 and enter some grade values. All right, so I quickly entered some values, and I can assure you that there was no bias with these values. And so now that we have some numerical values that are not IDs, because averaging IDs wouldn't really be of any use to us, we can actually delve into our aggregate functions. So I'll just write a quick query here to select star from enrollments, and then we can build on that. So we have all the enrollments and we have a bunch of grades. Now let us say we wanted to see the average grade for course ID 1. All right, so whatever course ID 1 is, we just want to see what was the average grade for that class. So there are a bunch of things that we need to do. So we have all the records from enrollments, and next we need to filter on the particular class. So we're just going to say where and get the course ID equals to 1, and then we can execute that, and we see we're only seeing that there were 3 students for course ID 1, and these are the grades. Once again, we want the average for these grades. Now, if you're a programmer, then programmatically to find an average, you would use a loop of some sort. And if you get fancy, then maybe a recursive call. But the fact is that you would need some repetition structure in place to actually go through, find all the grades, sum them, and then divide them by the number of grades that there were. That's a mathematical way, and you can find that algorithmically. Now, SQL doesn't necessarily, it does support a repetition structure in the form of a loop or a cursor, but in this situation, we don't have to go that far. We can use our aggregate function combined with our group by to accomplish this task. Now, in selecting this data, we really don't need to know the teacher ID or the student ID, because we're only interested in the course, that is ID 1, and the average grade. So we can just narrow down our selection. Remember that process of elimination, and we take only the course ID and the grades. And so we filtered it down to just the course ID and just the grade. But then what we really expect to have is one course and just one record that has the course ID and the grade value. And in this case, the grade value should be the average. So the next thing we need to do is, building off of our last video, is group by. So we say group by, and we only have 2 columns. So we can just take those 2 columns and group them by that. And then we know that if we execute, nothing much changes, maybe just the order. So our group by didn't change much, but then this isn't helping because we're still not getting the average. So because we're grouping by, and remember that the group by actually keeps track of everything that it is grouping, so that an aggregate function can be employed to do some form of mathematics to some value. So in this case, the math we want to do is to find the average of this column. And so our function to find the average is AVG. And like any function in most programming languages, we wrap that column in parentheses. And so what this is going to do is, when it executes, it's going to group the course ID. So we know, we've seen that the group by is only going to return, trying to return as few rows as possible. So it's going to try and group all of the ones into one. And then because we're running this aggregate function, the AVG is actually just going to say, how many rows should I group and perform this math on? So when I execute this, we get back 1 row with 1 value. And no, we did not, because I misled you just now. Actually, what should happen is that once you're doing and performing that aggregate function on a certain column, you don't group by it. So the group by is still going to take into account the fact that there are distinct values here and still bring them back. So if I'm going to be aggregating on that column or running this average or max or whatever it is kind of function, then I really should not be grouping by that very column. So I will just remove that. And so I'm grouping by course ID, which I know is repeating, and I'm averaging everything that meets that grouping where course ID is equal to 1. And so when I execute, we'll see that we're getting back 1 row with course ID 1 and the average. And if you're not trusting the math, you can always pull out a calculator and test it yourself. And so if I remove this where clause and I execute, then it will try to group all the courses by their respective IDs and then bring back the average grade for every enrollment into that particular course. So if I wanted the average grades across all courses, then this query would suffice. And so you see that the average grade across course 1 is 70.3, and for course 2 it's 80.3, etc., etc. And because there are no grades put in for 7, then the average grade is null. And if we wanted to order this by, then we could just add in our order by underneath here. And what would we want to order it by? We would want to order it by AVG grade. And there we go. So it's from the smallest grade value to the highest. And if we wanted to eliminate that null, then we could adjust our where clause to say where AVG grade is not null. And there you're seeing that it cannot have a where clause with our grade or with our aggregate function. All right. So that brings me to my second point on aggregate functions, where if you want to have a where clause on an aggregate value, then you can't use where, but you have a keyword that says having, and then you can say AVG grade, and there you go. So whenever you want to filter on a regular column, you have your where clause. If you want to filter on an aggregated column, meaning you're employing one of these aggregate functions, and remember that you have a few, you have max, you have min, you have sum, you have count, and we'll get into all of them as we go along. But once you're filtering on one of these aggregate columns, then you have to use having, and having follows the group by clause, and then you add your condition. So this could be AVG grade is greater than 70, and that would bring back only 70 and up. It could be is equivalent to 70. It could be is like, you know, whatever it is. Of course, we have nothing that is equal to 70, but I could say 70.3 to bring back exactly what I want. So anytime you want to filter, you have to use your having. And of course, we can beautify the output here by just inner joining all of our columns. And remember the rules. Once you're grouping by, you have to include every column that is not being aggregated. All right, so you can play around with that, try and run queries, try and come up with scenarios. I'll include scenarios at the end of this section that you can use to practice, and overall just have fun.